drunk park guests at Cedar Point? What counts as a credit? And are roller coasters getting worse? All that and more this week on Quad Down Pod. Hey guys, welcome back to Quad Down Pod. I am so excited to be back after basically 2 months off. How are you guys doing, Taylor and Larry?
I'm doing great. I was trying to give Taylor a chance to chime in.
I was just trying to give you a chance. I'm good. Josh, I'm so happy you're back.
I am so happy to be back.
Yes, welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. For any of you guys who don't know, I took 2 months off basically to get married and go on a honeymoon. So I'm back now. I think we're going to talk about that a little later in the show. But yeah, let's get right into some news. It's been an interesting couple of weeks, I'd say. Like I mentioned, top of show, we had a drunk guy at Cedar Point.
Oh, are we leading with that?
I'm leading with that, yeah.
Okay.
So apparently during Coaster Mania, this is what I heard. I was not there, just to be very clear.
None of us were there.
Yes, yeah. None of us were there. I think we all wanted to be there, but we just had different obligations. Our tickets sold out way too fast, or all sorts of other things. So my understanding is that Coaster Mania this year, not exactly the best Coaster Mania, which is not necessarily the park's fault. I believe the weather was mostly the issue. The lake conditions were not good, as is always the risk at Cedar Point.
Yeah.
And so they had to cancel the cruise, which if you don't know, the cruise is kind of a major selling point of Coaster Mania. You go out from the marina, you go all the way around the peninsula, like to the beach by the Magnum Gate, over past Gatekeeper, and then you go all the way back. It's really nice, like good views of the park. It got canceled this year because the lake was just too choppy. I think it was wind, so it was too like wavy, hard to get in and out of the dock safely, whatever. So, in response, the park loaded everybody at Coaster Mania in their pass a free, I think it was a single-use fast lane for use by the end of regular season, so it doesn't carry over to Haunt just by the second. So, my understanding is that early on in the Q&A, if you don't know, at events like this, there's often Q&As with park staff. This one happened to be with Tony Clark, who I would say has a rocky reputation in the community in terms of some people love him, some people can't stand him. So somebody decided to get drunk as all be and start yelling at Tony that a fast lane is not an accurate or an adequate replacement for the cruise and all this stuff, and how it's a ripoff. And I believe they got escorted off the premises.
Probably.
I would assume so.
Probably.
So, if we can learn anything from this, don't drink at parks if you can't control your alcohol and your anger, people. Actually, don't drink in general if you can't control your alcohol and your anger.
Yeah, I think that was a valid complaint that was not handled properly. And, yeah.
I mean, I would be. If it was like a fast lane, an all-day fast lane plus, I'd say that's an adequate, trade for trade, bar for bar. Even though it's not, it's way higher value realistically.
Yeah.
Because these single-use fast lanes go for like $20-ish at the high end, whereas the Coaster Mania ticket is $50, and then factor in the ERT. You could argue a single use is pretty monetarily equal. But, like, giving out monetarily, I'm not saying...
Yeah, I mean, only because they assign crazy value to them, but yeah.
Yes, which is why I was going to say, at the end of the day, I don't think giving out 5 single-use fast lanes would, it doesn't cost the park anything. Might as well. But it doesn't matter.
They did something. I'm glad they did something.
That's better than things in the past, to be honest with you. I like to think that Cedar Point is learning from their mistakes with the community of past Coaster Mania 2022 being a big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you guys have anything else to add besides, drunk man yells at...
funny.
Old man shakes fist at wind or whatever?
I was happy to see that Dave is still alive. He's just hiding
Dave
out
the
in the
robot,
sign shop.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He's in the sign shop.
Yes, he is in the sign shop.
Where he belongs, but I'm happy to see he's around.
One of my, I don't want to say inside sources, because that sounds so douchey, but somebody I know that works at Cedar Point told me the reason that he's in the shop. There's actually two reasons, one of which I had assumed, the other of which I didn't know. The one I had assumed is that merchandise wanted to sell Squishmallows, they needed more shelf space, so they put Squishmallows there.
There's not even Squishmallows there.
Is it not? It was when I went.
Though, did I go? I've been there. I've rode. Hold on. No, I've just seen pictures. I don't know. It's been a weird season so far, but from what I can tell, there's just like snacks in that corner right now. But maybe that was just early on. Maybe it was just early on.
My problem, not to tangent too hard off of Dave, but my problem with the Squishmallows at Cedar Point is that they don't come up with new designs. They have, I have a Millie and a Steve, and I would buy more, but like I've already bought the ones I want. I don't like the designs for the ones they have. They should rotate them every couple of years, because I bought Millie and Steve in 2022, and I've had no desire to buy any more since.
You know,
I still haven't gone in on one of these from anywhere.
Makes me sad is that they had the Beast and Diamondback the first year Kings Island did them. Immediately retired these, but they're still making new designs. What? You're telling me nobody wanted the Beast? You're telling me nobody wants a big Beast?
Yeah,
but they want a Mystic Timbers chipmunk or beaver or whatever it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's
or blue ice cream. No.
But the other reason... Oh, we should talk about blue ice cream in a minute. The other reason that Dave is in the sign shop is he needs repairs. Apparently he's under the weather.
Aw, poor Dave.
Makes sense.
I'm personally hoping that shelf space doesn't turn out to be too profitable. They fix him up this year, throw him back out there next year.
From what I could see, there's still like all the artwork and stuff you can still see behind the boards too. So hopefully it's just...
Yes, that is my experience as well. Speaking of blue ice cream, apparently the blue ice cream in Camp Snoopy is crappy. Larry, I know I saw you talking about this. You want to fill us in?
But this is like a story that keeps popping back up over the last few seasons, where it'll be like darker in color, and then the texture will be like that, like
I
saw it described as buffet soft serve.
Exactly, like that buffet soft serve. So kind of like where there's like those little ice crystals in it, and this just kind of pops up every once in a while, and I really want to know what happened. Like what causes that? Is there like a secondary supplier, or is there an issue with a machine, or what is it?
I've seen in the past, it's just that one of the machines is colder than the other for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Why does that mess with the color?
Because it freezes it harder. I don't know.
Because... Oh, you go, Larry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and it always seems to be at... Well, in the past, I thought it was always at the location in Camp Snoopy, but now I'm hearing people telling me that they have it happen sometimes over by Banshee as well, so I don't know.
I'm not a big blue ice cream fan in the first place.
I'm a huge blue ice cream fan. It's great stuff.
But... Larry, have you ever been to a buffet and they have chocolate ice cream and it comes out like dark brown? Because it's like almost...
I don't think so.
Oh, well, like if it ever comes out like dark brown at a soft serve machine, that usually means, like Taylor said, it was like too cold. So it like flash froze. I don't think it spins enough before... Because they basically dump the flavor in and then it freezes while it's like churning.
Yeah.
So I assume... it hasn't mixed enough, so it's coming out like super concentrated effectively and really
maybe
crystally because it flash froze.
Yeah, it sounds disappointing. I hope it does not happen to me, especially because those are not cheap.
Yeah, I don't even know how much they're going for these days, but I know last year I paid more than I wanted.
Yeah.
But I think that's a industry-wide thing, not a Kings Island thing, with prices being
absolutely. Yeah.
Speaking of, this is not on a news docket, but I did want to talk about it. Darien Lake is recovering.
Oh yeah,
Their
Good
wait
stuff.
times have been up. The slowest during peak I saw for any of their roller coasters was about 40 minutes this weekend, which, Jody, if you're listening, hi, let's work together. You should probably get new trains on your coasters. Those lines should not be 40 minutes long. Just knowing what those rides are capable of, they're all on one train except for Tantrum. Next year, 2 trains on Mind Eraser with a track reprofiling and Vestra trains. Hallelujah! But yeah, Darien Lake is getting its life back, which I actually both love and hate because it's a solid park. It's not. I almost put a tweet out the other day that was like, everything in this community is love or hate. There's no like, that park's okay, or that park is fun for a half day. It's either that park is top 5 in the world,
Knocked you out of the park.
Yeah, or that park is the worst thing. Why would anyone ever go there? And it's not even just with like the big, like the people super into it. I see it in Facebook groups too, and I assume people in Facebook groups are closer to GP than enthusiast, unless it's like a super enthusiast group. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I've also heard rumors of a new themed land to go with Mind Eraser's work for next year for Darien Lake. So if that comes true, I mean, I happen to know that they profited over $250,000 in one day a couple weekends ago. They had 87 school groups there.
Yeah, it's huge.
wow.
And they were busier this past weekend. I don't get it. I can't believe it, is what I mean. I don't get it.
Right.
Okay, back to the news docket. Let's stick with Cedar Point for a minute here. Cedar Point has installed a human claw machine.
Yeah.
What is your guys' opinion on this? I don't even want to talk about it. I just want your opinions.
It's a dumb little thing. I looked it up, like what those look like. I can't imagine ever doing it.
I feel like it'd be
But
fun. Like
I mean, it's
once.
kind of a spectacle.
I agree. I would do it once for the lulz, really, more than anything. Because the prizes are those cheap, like, blow-up aliens. And, like,
I want an alien.
the kind of things I associate, like, you could get a FOF alien. It's those kind of... No, you're good. What were you going to say?
I've seen so many more alien prizes at Kings Island this year, just all throughout the park, and it makes me so happy. And, yeah, they should expand Area 72 and make FOF just the entire park.
Well, we're going to get into half of that in a second here. That was a good segue, but I wasn't ready to segue yet.
I know. That's why I stopped for a second.
But yeah, basically you get hung in a bag. A 16-year-old you direct them where you want to drop, and then you drop, and it costs probably way too much. I don't remember, but I think I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, really? It might be $20. Don't quote me on that."
If I were to guess, I'd say like 20, 25.
Yeah, that's. I'm never doing that.
Height limit of 42. You have to be taller than. Weight limit of 300. You have to be under. Honestly, I'd rather take $10 and go ride Frontier Fling. I can get put in a bag over there and at least have fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of expanding Area 72, apparently, we actually have a picture here from Coaster Nation that there is pavement being poured in Area 72 behind Racer next to that beer stand. Is that beer stand where the single-use bathrooms are?
Across from it.
Yeah, this is like across from that.
This is right next to Flight of Fear.
It's like, when you walk in on the left, yeah.
I know what area. It doesn't matter. I just can't picture it. But okay. So I'm looking at this plot. You guys are more Kings Island experts than I am. What do you think this could be?
So it's done being poured now, and there is like a curb around it from the last picture I saw. I think it's going to be a human claw machine, which I think is so stupid. I've also seen a lot of people say
the size, yeah.
I've also seen a lot of people say a more permanent beer stand, and I'm like, we don't need any more beer stands. There's the new one in Rivertown. There's
21 and Colder.
No, this is Whistle Stop. Then there's
Where's
21
that?
and Colder. It's in front of the train station.
21 Colder's not done, right?
Yeah, 21 and Colder's not done yet.
Which is weird because 21 and Colder opened at Cedar Point. Yes, I know where you're talking about. Over by the train station. So I guarantee, even though the Coke Freestyle might not be open, that beer stand's going to be open all the time.
I have seen the beer stand open more than I've seen the Coke station open.
The eyes you made when I said that, you're like, yep, that's right. That's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. I had just wondered if it might be one of those human claw machines too, but previously I had just been thinking, well, obviously this is going to be, a food stand or a alcohol stand.
I just think it's dumb because, like, you could easily make that the start of a queue right there, and then take a coaster out behind Flight of Fear back there. It kind of cuts off the parade float, like, thing, but they can always move that. That's just a tent.
I see what you're saying, but I'm going to ask you, does Area 72 need another coaster? There's so many other places in the park.
I mean, it doesn't need one, but I just feel like to cut off your paths like that, like anywhere where you could potentially eventually expand, dumb.
That's fair.
Yeah, I feel that too.
With how quickly Cedar Point's human claw machine went up, I wouldn't be surprised if these things are fairly mobile.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because that was just like one day.
Yeah, I think I saw that work was being done, and within a week it was open. Like,
I wouldn't even give it a week. I think it was literally the weekend, like 3 days or something.
It might have been. It might have been like Friday to Monday or something like that. Yeah, it was. So I wouldn't be surprised if these are designed to be like movable if they do, and then they already have. You can kind of double your money there with like, oh yeah, we're putting concrete in for the human claw machine on this year's budget. And then when you go to pitch, an expansion over there, you're like, well, we already have the concrete from last year's budget. Like, you can kind of worm your way into it that way.
I mean, regardless, I don't think that area is going to get a coaster for
I don't think so
a very long time.
They could put a flat ride there, though. It's missing a flat.
Sure.
One of those, it wouldn't have a good enough capacity. I was going to say the Zamperla Nebulas, like in front of Jolly Rancher Remix, would look really cool there. But I don't think it would have the capacity for Kings Island.
A really, really big one?
Dude, imagine, like, one of those the size of, like, Drop Tower.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
The one that they always roll out at IAPA is bigger than the one at Hershey. And I kind of regret not riding it when I was there, because Anyway.
Dang it, Josh.
So this brings us to our last news, which kind of doubles for the topic I want to talk about today, that I talked about at the top of the show. Our roller coaster is getting worse. So Top Thrill 2 and Hyperia are, how do you say, broken?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just a lot of it.
As of now, on recording, which is approximately 6:30 p.m. Monday, June 10th. Remember, by the time you hear this on Thursday, everything could have changed, so take it with a grain of salt, of course. But Hyperia was testing with humans yesterday, I believe.
I saw that.
So it's like probably going to open this week or next week if I had to guess. Top Thrill 2, who knows?
It's been closed for 2 months at this point.
About a month.
About a month, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it was
sorry.
a week after, yeah. Like almost exactly a month, I think. No, exactly a month. Because its last operating day was May 10th. Yeah, Top Thrill 2 has new wheels on, well, not new wheels, replaced wheels on 2 of the trains with new wheel bogies. If anybody doesn't know, the wheel bogie is basically the connector between the train and all the wheels. It's the metal thing that the wheels like bolt into. Apparently, rumor has it, they were stress cracking.
Yep.
Which tracks with, if you look at Ryan the Ride Mechanic has a great video comparing the old and the new ones. Basically, they're just super reinforced, which plays well into the fact. Yeah, plays well into the idea that they were stress cracking. As far as I know, Blue Train does not have wheels yet. Silver and Black have been testing, and Silver was like taken apart into like so many pieces last week, but it's back together now.
Yeah.
It was like completely like the same day that it was like looking completely disassembled, they had it back together, and I think they were testing it.
I mean,
that night.
Yeah.
I've been multiple times been lucky enough to hear Adam Sandy from Zamperla pitch or present the Lightning Train. It was at IAPA. I asked about it at Winter Chill Out one year. Yeah, Winter Chill Out last year. And I talked to him about it at the Boardwalk Media / Pass Holder Day. So kind of 3 times I've heard him talk about these trains. And the thing he always says is like they're modular, they're easy to repair. And if you've watched any of the promotion, you've seen him talk about that as well.
They bring up the foam. He brings up the foam.
Yes,
a lot.
he does. It's so easy to replace the seat.
You can just replace the foam. Yeah,
exactly. And like the only reason that I bring up that I've seen him do that multiple times, it's not to be like, oh, I've seen this. It's because it's what he harps on every single time he talks about it. And like conceptually, I knew that, but seeing the trains get stripped basically to bones and then run 6 hours later really nails in like how workable they are.
It's a really neat ride vehicle. I was really curious what was going on because that was after they had replaced the wheel carriers
and then we tested for like 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah, too. So it's like, what were they doing? I really wish I knew.
Well, I don't heard that there was something wrong with like the train, like the chassis or something as well. I wasn't too sure what was going on, and that like something...
To be clear, I was just gonna say I've heard everything from the wheel bogies to somebody got decapitated. Basically, is what I've
heard.
Like, in the wide range.
That didn't happen.
Well, I know, but that I haven't literally heard that, but that's more of like an example of I've heard everything under the sun.
I think that all signs point to it really being the wheel carriers, but if it was the chassis, because the chassis is one piece, that would be a big problem.
Yeah, that's just a milled brick of aluminum. Yeah. Although to get at what Taylor's, I think, trying to say, if it was just the wheel chassis, you'd think it'd be open by now because they've been testing. They already had new parts. Something about the blue train not having them on yet and them having to gut the silver train points to they found the silver train, or they found the issue with the wheel bogies, took it out of service, were ready to replace those. Oops, we just found something else.
Yeah. Well, and you know, that's interesting because they were testing, and then all of a sudden everything stopped, and then they had those like the tarps over the train. Everybody was like, "They're shipping them back to Italy."
Why would they go to Italy? First of all, there's a Zamperla plant in New Jersey.
I don't know, but I just thought that was so funny. Like, it's over.
It was, yeah. Is that kind of what you were getting at, Taylor?
Yeah.
Like, why are they? Yeah.
It's just everything. It doesn't have to be just like one issue. Like, this is a big ride. This is a big first for Zamperla. It was a prototype on a prototype. Like, there's
prototypeception. I also think that's kind of why they waited to put the Coaster Mania update out as long as they did. It's because going in, they probably thought, oh, it's just wheel bogies. We can get a new part out and test it, and maybe it'll be open. And then the week of, they're like, oh, shit, something else broke.
Right.
And then at that point, they're like, okay, we need to put out another indefinite. Speaking of indefinites, Thorpe Park, with their Hyperia closing...
oh, goodness.
Depending who you ask, is either smashing it out of the park or dropping the ball so hard. So, for context, when the ride closed, after one day of operation, one day, they basically, I'm not going to remember the exact dates, but they were basically like, hey, bear with us. We can't commit to opening it within the next 3 or 4 days. So people are like, okay, I'm going to book my trip for 5 days from now because it's going to be open. And then they're like, hey, by the way, can't actually commit to opening until June 8th, which was 2 days ago. As you know, we're already talking about, it got pushed again. So instead of giving a date this time, they're like, sorry, we don't know when it's opening.
That's what they should have said to begin with.
Yes. And I'm fine with trying to give dates and trying to communicate. My problem with how they handled this is not that they gave dates. It's that they heavily implied when it was going to open, and then when it got pushed, they're like, no, we never committed to a date. I'm sorry. Like, we never did that. Which is technically true.
Just the way that I read it, but I just didn't assume that it was going to be open. I was just hearing, well, the first one, they were like, it's not going to be this weekend. I was like, okay. I'm not going to assume it's going to be open Monday. Like, I don't know. I don't like to assume things are going to be open until I see them being open.
I think that's logical.
Right.
Okay.
It's not great for planning, but
I think you approached it the logical way. I also really think that they should have worded it differently because it does imply that it's going to open after that date.
Right.
Whether or not you assume it, that's the yes.
Technically, it is opening after June 8th.
Well, also, this is why this is why I don't think Cedar Point should have. I'm glad they haven't given any inkling of an opening date, because whatever you say, even if you give a range, you're already late if you've missed the first part of that range.
But we talked about, they very well could have planned on having it open by Memorial Day, and then they found something else. Right.
Yeah. So that's why you just say it's closed until we tell you it's not. Yeah.
And it's closed until it's safe. That's what matters.
Yeah.
But the question here that I posed at the top of the episode.
Oh, are they getting worse?
Are coasters getting worse? I mean, we have Iron Menace. People are acting like it's the roughest thing in the world. I haven't ridden it yet, so I have no opinion on that whatsoever. But, it's the death of B&M because B&Ms are getting so rough. And literally, like Taylor is saying, everybody I've talked to that's ridden it has been like, it's got a jolt. It's not that bad.
It's a jolt.
I've heard mixed. I've definitely heard some people say it's really rattly.
The only person I've heard that says it's really rattly, I think, is probably Jen.
Well, Jen has a conflict of interest with B&Ms at
exactly. So, of course, nothing beats Talon.
So we have the new B&M. That's the end of B&M, and then we have Mach can't get a simple lift hill right, according to the haters, and Top Thrill 2 should have been torn down, and they should have built a restaurant there. Are coasters getting worse, guys?
Really saying that?
Yes, I have seen that multiple times.
No, they really are. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Oh goodness.
I've gotten a lot of comments on videos where people are just like, "Well, they should just I hope it never opens. Like it's terrible. They should just tear it down." Wow, man.
When I went up for the charity event, I have some GP friends and people I work with that were like, "Didn't that ride kill someone? Why are you going to go ride it? That's so dangerous. I'm so worried for you." And I was like, no.
I get it. I mean, if you're just casually aware of this stuff.
That's when you look at them and go, "Have you ever ridden Raptor?" And they're like, "Yeah." You're like, "Let me tell you about a day in 2000.
No, don't make it worse. Don't make it worse.
But you're right. You shouldn't do that. But my point is, I guarantee people have ridden coasters that have killed people and they don't even know.
Yeah. Well,
so my thought on I don't. It is weird, especially the Hyperion Top Thrill 2 thing happening at basically the same time is weird. I think it's just because they're just big custom projects. That's all I got.
Is Hyperia big? I know by UK standards it's big.
Does Mach have other hypers?
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I'm not up to date on Mach.
Yes, they do. My understanding from the very, very small amount of British thoosie Twitter that I get is that Thorpe Park really rushed the building. They didn't start building it fast enough, and then they just go, we need this open. And so, maybe some corners were cut, or maybe, yeah, which is funny, because on the total opposite side of the coin, I'm sure Top Thrill 2 could have opened last year if they wanted it to, and they extended the crap out of that time frame and gave it a whole extra year. And that one's not working either. So,
with Top Thrill 2, it's perhaps the least surprising thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
But it's still it's I don't know. Hopefully they're able to figure it out, but this thing has been a problem since day one of its life.
20 years ago.
Hyperia or Top Thrill 2?
Top Thrill 2. Well, no, just Dragster itself.
Oh, yes.
It's a problem.
I feel like a lot of people forget that in 2000 2003, it had the Goodyear tires incident. 2004, the cable sheared and it sent metal fragments into 4 people.
Ouch.
Like, that thing's had incidents its whole life.
Yeah.
But, yeah, to answer the question, are coasters getting worse? I'm going to confidently say no.
No. Wait,
I don't think they're getting
closed
worse
right now. There's other coasters closed right now, right?
Well, Beast was closed for a bit.
Yeah, but it's 45 and it has an issue at the beginning of every season.
That's fair. I thought Nemesis was closed. It is not. The drop tower in that area is closed.
Oh, okay, so B&Ms are safe.
Well,
unless you're Iron
they're
Menace,
shaky
I guess.
mess.
Oh
no! I'm thinking if there's any other major closures. In other news, Lightning Rod's doing great as far as I know.
Yeah. Elizabeth wrote it 10 times. 6 times back to back. Like last week or the week before. I was like...
I made a tweet that was like, Lightning Rod is up, but at what cost? Being like, every other major coaster of 2024 is broken.
It's an unfortunate season so far.
Yeah, Lightning Rod was, pardon the pun here, being a lightning rod for bad coaster juju. So everything else has been working for the last 7 years, but now that it's working, it's just shooting lightning everywhere.
Everything's just gone to crap.
But yeah, I don't think coasters are getting worse. I think there's a lot of things to blame here. Not to blame. I'm not going to say blame, because at the end of the day, business is business and mistakes happen. But Zamperla's on a prototype. Mach was apparently rushed. These are kind of some of the first major coasters post-COVID. So I wouldn't be surprised if that, either financially or business timeline-wise or staffing-wise or a million other things, somehow played into it. Not that it's the root cause, per se. But I wouldn't be surprised if that had an impact somehow. But
yeah.
Could have, absolutely. I was thinking about that too, that these are, we really haven't had very many large projects since COVID.
Did we have any big projects last year? Everything?
I think last year we were... Yeah, Wildcats Revenge.
But that closed
we were still kind of...
a minute. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Close for like 4 days.
I don't remember that.
It for like 4 days, yeah.
Yeah. It was like a week.
Oh, I do remember that. That was like really early on. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think the 2023 was kind of weak because everybody for 2021 and 2022 was still unveiling their COVID projects. And then so 2023, everyone kind of took a dip down. And then they started to come back this year.
Next year will be wonderful.
Will
I
it?
think so.
Maybe.
We're going to talk about that.
I think it'll be...
Yeah, when we get into questions.
I see.
Wait, is the question on here?
I think so. I know what question you're talking about. Yeah, it should be on there.
It's not...
Is it in my screenshot at the bottom? Because I was too lazy to add things.
Yes, actually it is. I didn't even see that down there. That's actually a really efficient way to do that. We should do that more.
I don't like the way that looks.
But it helps me associate the picture.
The person I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I don't like the way it looks.
Anyway, but yeah, no. The only thing that we can really solidly say here. Oh, I have one more news thing to cover, and it's about to tie in what I'm about to say. El Toro got double-sided lockers for free, baby.
Yeah, that happened a little bit ago, right?
Yeah. But I think they just opened. And all we can learn from this coaster outage, with Top Thrill 2 especially, is don't blame the merger. This is not the merger's fault.
The merger that hasn't happened yet.
The merger hasn't happened yet.
I say that ties in because so many people were like, Top Thrill 2 doesn't have free lockers because Six Flags is making them not do it because the merger.
Oh, I never saw anyone say that.
I definitely did. I know, Taylor. But then I was like, that's really funny because El Toro just got free lockers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thoozies.
For real. Questions.
Let's go,
Bleo. What ride is so bad that you think it's good? Taylor?
That that felt like passive aggressive, low key, Josh.
Because there's an answer that you better say, and I know you're not going to.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Josh. Actually, I have
I really
an
want to
answer.
know how it became your number 0.
Hey, Josh, I don't know if I like that you're back right now. I think I liked it better when it was just me and Larry. But I have
What's
a
your real
legitimate answer for this question, but like I'm blanking on the name right now. Or like
Describe it.
I can't. Like I know that I have an answer. I'm gonna have to come back to this.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
I
Do you
know
have
that
one?
I have one.
You know, I mean, I've never really thought about this before. I guess, oh man, I don't have an answer that wouldn't make people mad.
Well, make people mad, Larry.
Make
I don't
people
know.
mad.
Honestly, I feel like it would be, for me, it would be Magnum.
I was about to say, I feel like that's a popular answer.
Yeah, Magnum, because it's so jank, but it's fun. Partially because of its jankness.
Yes, mostly, honestly, because of its
Yeah.
jankness. For me, I'm gonna go with my number 0 since Taylor doesn't have the guts to do it, and say Predator at Darien Lake.
I guess I thought it was a better ride than that. But it's like so bad it's good.
Well, I haven't ridden it this year, but it's one of those rides where if it's not a hot day, you feel like it does nothing. And everybody that I ever know that rides this ride apparently rides it on not hot days, because Chris from Maritime Thrills thought it did nothing. Matt from Coasters and Brews thought it did nothing. I didn't even see Gabby talk about it. So apparently it's not good. I have fun on it.
Taylor, you ready?
I don't think I can answer this question. I don't actually have an answer. Like, I know I have an answer. I remember there was something I rode, like, last year that I was like, this is so bad, I love it. And I just cannot, like, remember what it was.
It sounds like it could be one of those coasters at Scene 75.
That's exactly what I was thinking when she said that.
It probably was Tsunami, honestly. It's probably
What
exactly
about,
what it was.
In Vertigo.
So, we need a new co-host, and...
At least I didn't say the other one.
I didn't know you felt that strongly about Vertigo.
I like Invertigo a lot. It's not a bad ride. It's not a bad ride.
We were talking about this before you got on the call, Larry.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Invertigo left.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we were talking about. I said within 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. No one but Coco. I'm sorry, guys. This is a question exclusively for me. What is the first coaster? I guess Larry, you could also answer this. What is the first coaster you rode as husband and wife? If not yet, which do you plan on riding first? We rode Maverick at Cedar Point.
Oh,
nice.
That's a good one.
That's a really good first one.
Yeah. For Ashley and I think it would have ended up being probably the Racer.
That's a solid choice.
Yeah.
Taylor, what about you and Dawson? You're obviously not married, but you've been together a couple years. We can throw you in there.
I honestly don't know. I think it was probably Flight of Fear. Probably.
Okay, Taylor doesn't know anything today, so...
No, it's been like 2 years since the first time like 2 years since the first time we've gone to a park together, and I don't remember much about that trip, to be honest. I mean,
Fair.
like, I do. Like, I remember it was really hot, and we really wanted to ride Diamondback, and Diamondback was closed until the minute we left the park. As soon as we left the park, it reopened, and I was very sad.
That is sad. This next question also directed to me. I'm sorry, guys. From McLovin. Should more cruise ships add roller coasters? If yes, should they be more Mowers or something different?
Hey, I feel like we can all say an answer here. Sorry,
okay,
go ahead, Josh.
That's true. I have experience, so I can For any of you who don't know, I was on the Carnival Mardi Gras as part of my honeymoon. Yes and no. I think it'd be cool, but I also really like the novelty of it. That was a really cool thing about riding it, is like, this is one of the only places in the world you can do this. And they should be Mowers or something different. Realistically, they should probably be Mowers, because the spike coaster, the way it's powered, it like catches like a gear to push forward. So like, it doesn't matter if you hit a wave or like strong winds over the ocean, you're gonna get there basically. So like, you can't valley unless the power goes out.
I want to valley over the
It should be
ocean.
Mowers.
I mean, I think the view has got to be like the coolest thing about it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when you rode it, were you in port? Does it run when you're on, like, actually out at sea?
Inconsistently. It's basically, the answer is try and catch it at port if you can, because there's a lot less wind and you're not rocking and stuff.
I figured.
We kind of cheated the system. We departed the port at 4. We got on the ride at like 4:15. So we were like pulling past the beach, but we weren't like at the ocean yet. So we kind of had Florida behind us and the ocean in front of us type thing.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool, and I'd
because
recommend.
What I'd like to do is ride one of those in open ocean and just like see that all around you. I think would be awesome.
I agree, but I didn't want to risk it, and it costs $15
totally
per person.
Yeah.
And, it's $15. Maybe next time if we go on the ship, the same ship, I'll do it. I'll try to do it that way, because I already have the credit. I can kind of risk it more. But yeah, so we got it out of the way, like as soon as we could, because we're like, if this doesn't open any other day, we want to make sure we get it.
Right.
And as far as I know, it was up and down our whole cruise, so I'm really glad we got it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about it as well, is that it can be tough to catch. Do you guys think more cruise ships should add roller coasters?
I think it sounds cool. I understand you're like wanting it to be unique type thing, but maybe like I feel like one of the Disney cruise ships should have one. Why do they not have one?
Because Disney doesn't love roller coasters.
Disney should.
I think an indoor coaster on a cruise could be kind of cool, specifically on the new... Sorry, I'm going to nerd out about cruise ships here for a second. The new Icon series of ships on Royal Caribbean, they have these massive atriums that are all glass on the front of the ship.
Ooh.
So, like, having it in there, you could kind of get the best of both worlds. You wouldn't have the wind keeping it down, but you could still get the ocean view or the night view under the stars kind of thing. I think that would be really cool.
It'd be really neat.
Yeah.
Except I think they use that atrium for, like, an ice show or a water show or something.
Use it for a coaster.
Honestly, just put a coaster around the edge. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that'd be really cool. Sorry, Emma. Larry, do you have any opinions?
I mean, yeah, I think it's a cool idea. So why not? Give us more of them.
Nice. Eric Bestie, thoughts on the Beast closure? What Beast closure? It reopened.
Yeah, it's already reopened. So.
Has Bat reopened yet?
Bat's been open, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, okay. Okay. I know that was closed for a period of time as well. I think something about the rubber and the axles or something.
That wasn't very long, though, right?
I don't know. May doesn't exist for me. I got married on May 4th, and then I got back from my honeymoon. I mean, I worked for a week in there. I didn't take a 3-week honeymoon. But, like, I got married on May 4th. I started work after Memorial Day. Everything in between is, like, not real for me.
Right.
So, timeline-wise, yeah.
Yeah, Beast closure, it was closed for a little bit. I honestly never really did follow up to find out exactly what happened, other than there was, like, a part they were waiting on.
That's all I knew as well.
That's all I knew.
Dan Glouser, thoughts on 45% off pass perks? Can somebody explain this to me?
So, if you attended Pass Holder Preview Day at Kings Island, they sent everybody that went a 45% off 45th Anniversary Beast additional discount. Did I say those words right?
What?
44? Okay, 45% off what? Like, I get it's for its 45th
any,
anniversary.
Any piece of Beast merchandise that is for the
okay.
45th anniversary specifically.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing. And
But
like,
just for people who went to pass holder preview?
yeah. So, and it was like,
Okay.
yeah, it was.
So you had to subject yourself to torture.
Pass holder
You
preview
get a
was not
discount.
bad this year. It was not bad.
Really? That's good.
That's so weird because I hear half the people say, "Oh, it wasn't bad," and other people are like, "It was the busiest I've ever seen the park." Like Jesse was saying, it was the busiest he's ever seen Kings Island.
I
No,
He
don't
doesn't
on
go
holiday
that
weekends.
often, I don't think, though, to be
Yeah.
honest.
know. I know he's
I've
only
been there
there
on
both
days.
days.
I've been to Kings Island on days where I'm not going to say they were at capacity, but I'm pretty sure they were probably close.
Yeah, same.
I think the longest thing that we saw was like Beast, and it had like all the queue open, so we just didn't
Oof.
ride. Not all.
Yeah,
but
that's
all
one.
the
That's
queue.
one of those times I'm not walking in there. Yeah.
Yeah. But it only claimed an hour, and I was like, "This is not." No.
No. But yeah, that's cool though. 45% off.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, I think this is a good time to talk about the overhauled pass perks as a whole.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Which, okay, take it away, Taylor, because I skimmed through it, but I'm not too versed.
So now every month you can go in and see like what you're gonna get for the pass perks. So if you go to, and it's only at your home park, which I saw people that were mad about that, and I was like, it's always only been at your home park.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So if you visit
That
once,
is weird though. If you think about it, if you have like the all parks, like why wouldn't it? You know what I mean?
Yes, take it away, Taylor.
So if you visit one time, you can get a drawing for a bonus perk. This month's bonus perk is a free Grand Carnival menu item. 2 times, 15% off the Midway games. But if you're Prestige, you get this other one for a buy one, get one free keychain. 3 times, 15% off merch. And then Prestige gets their a beach towel. They also get 15%. And then if you visit more than 4 times, there's a free bring a friend ticket. These change every month. So you can always like go see.
This seems like a very easily exploitable system if you live close to the park.
Yeah.
You mean by doing what, like going in and out?
Yeah, like people used to do that at Disney during reservations because it was like around COVID time when you needed reservations. If you made a reservation, you couldn't cancel like same day or something. So I saw so many TikToks where people are like, I'm puking up blood, but I have to go like scan in and leave the park or else they're going to cancel my annual pass. So like kind of do the same thing, but like, hey, I want to bring, my friend's kid to the park next weekend. I'm just going to go scan my pass 4 times and get a free bring a friend. Then they don't have to pay,
I wonder if there's like some kind of time limit in between there for when it will.
Well, they don't scan out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So
I'm sure that's why this is like not one that they have all the time. I also know like some of the other parks did like for pass holder preview. You go to pass holder preview and you got a free bring a friend or something like that. And Kings Island didn't do that, and I think that's because Kings Island's where Kings Island is, and so many of Cincinnati people go just every single day.
Yeah.
And there's literally a neighborhood right there.
I would say Kings Island probably has the like most regulars, like people that on average visit the most. Cedar Point's got to be up there.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely up there.
I think I've seen more people that are like, I went to Kings Island every operating day this year, type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see them doing something with the pass perks because before that was just a total.
Oh, I
dud.
agree. I'd rather have a system that's exploitable and usable than something that's like, hey, every once in a while you get an email for 2 free peanuts with the purchase of the rest of the bag. Like,
maybe.
How hard would it be for them to just be like only one scan, like counts as like a time
Oh,
for the purpose of pass perks
I
per
think
24-hour period or
I
something.
think it is per day, Larry. I don't think it's.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't mean like go in 4 times, but I mean like if you live, say you live in Mason and you want to bring your kid on Friday, and on the way home from work on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you just switch
just
back
go
apart
in.
and
No,
swipe
so
in,
you don't get that perk until July.
Oh, okay.
It's for the whole month.
Even
Okay.
so, like
Okay.
I don't even know if I would think of that as exploiting. I mean, you're doing what you're going to the park.
I guess that's technically true.
Yeah,
Exploiting is not the right word. Maybe gaming.
yeah, gaming it, but I think to them that's probably like worth the risk that a few crazy people will do that.
Well, yeah.
Try to entice people to go in more.
Not to get into this now because we're 50 minutes deep into an episode, but it's kind of like the same balance with I'm going to say 3 little letters that might make Taylor flare up a little bit. Kind of like the same balance with ADA, where people have to figure out the balance between what's exploitable and what is accessible, and there's always going to be a crossover there to an extent.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that the first 3 letters that came to mind for me were FOF.
Yeah, that's
it makes no sense.
No, because that's what I was thinking. I was like, how are you tying
it makes
FOF into
no
this?
sense in the context, but I'm like, it has to be FOF. There's no other thing it could be.
No, that's something we should talk about in a later episode with my experience with accessibility at Florida parks.
Oh, absolutely.
And me and Taylor, I'm sure, and the Cedar Point incident, and your Cedar Point incident.
My Cedar Point, yeah.
we should put that in the back burner and talk about that one sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a great question. Got us on a long rant, Dan. Good job.
Thanks,
Alex, which I assume is
if I didn't...
Geauga Lake, Alex.
Yes.
Which one? Is that Execution Man?
Yes. Usually if it's just Alex, I put Alex, and if it's Velocicoasting Alex, I'll put Velocicoasting.
Okay.
Why did you break Top Thrill 2?
Spite.
Yep, I wanted it to become T3 so T3 could live on.
I wanted to have an exclusive credit.
Yeah, me too. That was the only reason.
I didn't want
Taylor
Josh to
couldn't
get to
have a
ride.
better launch coaster in Ohio. Except there already is.
No, there's not.
You're okay. Straight face, jokes aside, you're gonna tell me Maverick is not better than FOF. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Next question from Kev: do you prefer summer or fall visits to theme parks? I have a very good, clear answer for this, but I want your guys' answer.
I know what your answer is going to be for sure.
Of course you do. We talked about it before.
Yeah. Taylor, what about you?
I prefer fall. I like the weather's a lot nicer. It's easier for me to move around. I can wear comfier clothes. Fall is the move.
Yeah. So I'm going to say the same thing, except the fact that in fall, well, depending on when you go during the fall, the crowds can be a lot worse.
That's true.
But yeah, the temperature is the main issue.
Yes.
Because you go to a park in July, there are times where I'm like 2 hours in, I'm like, I don't know about this, man.
I agree. Fall, specifically daytime fall visits. I'm not big on haunt, like smoke.
No.
Especially my wife doesn't like scary things and has terrible vision. So when it gets foggy, she basically has panic attacks because she can't see anything. Me, Kevin, Larry were walking around Busch Gardens, Williamsburg in a triangle around her. And at one point, the most legendary Larry thing I've ever seen. At one point, someone starts walking towards us. Larry goes, "Off." They backed off.
I think I was like, you just stand back, sir.
Yeah, honestly, I have great memories of fall time in parks.
Me too.
So, and like you said, the heat, and like Taylor said, it's easier to get around. Me and Taylor have the same issues, so I relate to that as well. And me and Larry have the same weight class, so I relate to the temperature as well.
I love a good summer at a theme park. I mean, I really do, especially at night, like the summer nights. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, fall is just so much more. I mean, to be able to walk around comfortably, maybe even wearing a light jacket, is so much better than like I've been here 2 hours and I feel like there's an entire layer of sweat
of death. On me.
I feel like all my park fits look better with a nice flannel anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you try to wear a flannel when it's 90 degrees out of spite for the fact that you put a flannel in your car, but that's a different thing.
Wait. Oh, there is a flannel in my car right now, actually.
Yeah.
I bet.
Anyway, Hawk Vandalay asks, do you have the credit if you get evac'd on the final brake run?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, why would
You're on
you
the
not?
brake run. Yeah.
I agree. I think the root of the question would be because you didn't complete the full circuit or some bullshit.
Nah.
At that point,
What's left at that point?
I could understand, like, maybe if you got evac'd off the lift hill.
But yeah,
or even the mid-course, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
I think yes.
yeah. You definitely have the credit at that point.
Yeah.
Negative Power asks,
I like that name.
who's a coaster YouTuber that deserves more subs? They're a huge fan of Thomas XL200. He's hilarious, but only has about 1,000 subs.
I don't think I've seen Thomas XL200.
I don't think I have either.
I'll have to check them out. I always like zero credits remaining. I think they've got too few subs for the quality of their content.
I not to be that guy, but KI Coaster Guy genuinely makes some of the top-notch content, and he's this close to 3,000. If you're not sub to Larry, go sub to Larry.
I also would say Larry.
Appreciate it.
As for people
guys.
I don't host a podcast with, let me look up if this is the person I'm thinking. No,
Actually, I want to
media.
Ooh.
I think.
I want to shout out Zooter Loopers.
Oh yes, I always forget they don't have as many subscribers as they should because their content is so good.
It's
100%. I agree with you.
Good. I was binging them the other day because I saw them at Kings Island, and they're just I was shocked with how little subscribers they have because their filmography is so good.
And like, they'll put their whole Zooter Lupussy into a video, and it'll get like 120 views, and I'll be like, this is genuinely the most entertaining content I've seen in so long.
I haven't been able to hear a single word you said after.
I was just
You're welcome,
watching their video going through like the photo shoot they did with Cole for from Park Pros for his new merch line. What is it? A United States of Amusement. And I didn't think I'd have so much fun watching a commercial, basically.
Yeah, they can make anything interesting. Like, the one that I always go back to for, like, pointing at how they're redefining the genre is their Wildcats Revenge Media Day. I was there. I was watching them film it. It should have been like, yeah, I was there. I know exactly what's in this video. Floored by what they did with that video. Like, genuinely floored.
That was the one with the paper that they, ripped
the
off.
24 hours thing.
Yeah.
And it was like I said, I was there. Larry was there. We were watching them shoot. We were riding rides with them. And then I watched that video. I'm like, holy cow. They made effectively a mountain out of a molehill here. Everybody else was like, hey guys, I'm at Hershey Park. I rode the ride. It was great. You should come ride it. And they were like, here's the problem. We're in Florida. We only have 24 hours. We can't sleep. Let's do this. And they made a whole story out of it. Kind of like, I would say their story content is like the Mr. Beast of this niche.
Interesting.
Where it's like, they can take anything and make a story out of it. That's genuinely entertaining to watch start to end. Not that Mr. Beast is like the most entertaining content, but he's a good storyteller objectively.
They have a very specific vibe that like is very similar to something that I can't put my name on right. Like, and it's like bothering me.
I know. It also kind of reminds me.
A specific channel that they remind you of?
Maybe not channel, but just like style of video.
I know what she means.
Yeah.
It also kind of reminds me of a Mark Rober video, like effortlessly optimistic, upbeat, and really engaging.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And
Zoodle
they're
Loopers,
super nice
great
people.
pick. They are amazing.
They are really
guys.
nice, yeah.
Someone else, 11.4 subs, Theme Park Media. He makes really good video essays. He, kind of like me, upload schedule is shoddy. He disappeared for 2.5 years, made 6 videos over the course of 2 months, and hasn't uploaded again in 3 months. So, like, when he's uploading, it's amazing content. But, yeah. Another great question.
Good one, yep.
4 more questions here. Dawson, whoever the hell that is.
Yeah, I don't
What
know
feature
him.
of a future coaster would you be most excited to see, such as drop height, inversions, etc.? I really want to see another 4D coaster. I don't know if that counts.
I feel like that counts.
Like X2?
Yeah, or Agenike or Dino, whatever. What I've been thinking about the most recently is I want a new launch technology.
Yeah.
Like during the 70s.
Like a new type of launch system?
Yeah. Like we have our LSMs, we have our hydraulics kind of. We have air launch, we have LIMs that are still occasionally used, but I want something like new that's going to change the game.
Yeah.
Me and El Toro Ryan were talking recently about like the nerdy side of roller coaster braking and how it could be used in coasters, and we had some cool ideas, and I'm not going to talk too much about them because I might make a video about it at some point, so I kind of want to, save some of the secret sauce. But
Sure.
I want something really technical, like a breakthrough technology, not necessarily a breakthrough height or element kind of record, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like that's kind of where I am.
Wanting a breakthrough technology of some kind?
Yeah, just something new. I don't know. Because I don't think, like, we can do as many 400 foot, 300 foot, whatever, but I just want there to be something new. Add a little spice.
Add a little bit of spice.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. Not necessarily about launches, but
just
something like the Axis, like something new, like something like a real new model.
Yeah,
that provides a different experience.
This makes me think of a spin-off question that I'm going to ask Taylor. If Pfaff was on the you look so skeptical. If Pfaff was on the docket to get a refurb, as in track work, new trains, LSM launch, would you want them to touch it up, or would you want them to keep the original experience for nostalgia's sake?
I really hate those trains.
I do
really hate those trains.
But honestly,
if we could give it a punchier launch, though, I want a punchier launch.
You could. The new Premier trains are equally as bad in a weird way.
So, Premier, love y'all. Can we get a different brand of trains?
Yeah.
Zamperla Lightning trains?
Yeah, that'd be great. Oh, those trains are so comfy.
I haven't ridden in one, but I've sat in one, and yes, it was quite comfortable.
So comfy.
It might make the Cobra Roll not bearable. I mean, it would make it bearable. Not
that Cobra Roll is not bad. That Cobra Roll is actually excellent.
That Cobra Roll is not what makes me feel weird on Flight of Fear. It's the last surprise Cobra Roll after not doing inversions for like half the ride, and then all of a sudden you're just like, whoo! That always.
The bad part about Pfaff is going from the corkscrew into the brakes. Those brakes suck.
Yes.
That is my only complaint.
That's your only complaint?
And
the trains.
Complaint. Oh, and the trains.
And the fact that King's Dominion has a better station theming with the aliens being open.
Shh. I haven't ridden King's Dominion. It doesn't
Okay,
count.
I'm done taking
Josh
a dump
has been
on
back
Taylor's
for
number
one
0 for this
episode, and I've been bullied for an hour straight.
Quit foffing around, Josh.
I missed you, Taylor.
What the Pfaff?
What the Pfaff? Oh, that should be we should hashtag that. What the Pfaff?
What the Pfaff?
Okay. Question from All Clear and Out of Here, or if you look at the username, All Clear. Oh. Sorry, it's really funny. Here's a two-parter for you. Will we see another Zamperla coaster pop up in a Cedar Fair park in the near future? If so, what park would it go to? I want to go last on this one for a specific reason. Larry.
I mean, I don't have a specific park I think it'll go in, but I think, yeah, they're definitely working with Zamperla right now.
Yeah. Well, we know that's not what King's Dominion's getting.
That's true. They're getting a B&M launched wing, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's green, which makes sense when I think about it, but I wouldn't have guessed that.
It's all green.
It's green with green supports?
It's green on green. Maybe a slightly...
So do we just say everything looks fantastic now? Because that doesn't necessarily sound great.
I think they're slightly different greens.
I'm wondering if they're
mind-blowing, stunning.
Stunning.
It's like poltergeist green too. That's the funny part. It's not even like a pleasing green.
I didn't think that picture looked that nice, and everyone was like, "I am loving these colors. This is fantastic."
I really do like the green. I just don't know why everybody was like mind blown from like one blurry picture through a fence.
See, Taylor, what you're saying is you had a realistic emotion for the track. You looked at it and went, huh, that's pretty cool. A lot of other people were like, oh my god, I can't believe King's Dominion
beautiful.
got
this
the
color
prettiest new coaster.
Yeah, no thank you.
I think everybody needs to like
chill,
look at things realistic. I like this hand movement, Larry. It's fun. Chill.
Well, I went last because if you've kept your ear to the ground, the rumor is that Canada's Wonderland next year is getting a Zamperla or an Intamin.
Interesting.
So it's a Zamperla.
The way you said that was gold. Yeah, so I'm leaning towards Zamperla for that. But let's take that off the table just for sake of discussion. I would guess Michigan's Adventure or Valley Fair is getting that double heart coaster that allegedly sold.
That'd be good at either of those parks.
See that?
Yeah.
So yeah. So real answer, Canada's Wonderland. Long shot answer, Valley Fair or Michigan's Adventure. Also, I think making any predictions post 2025 is kind of pointless because the merger will impact post 2025.
Yeah.
Yes, it will.
So
let me ask you this: you said that you heard somebody bought a double heart. Do you know where that's going? Or
no, as far as I know, it's not disclosed yet.
Okay,
but I heard it was purchased.
It's a nice looking coaster.
It is. I'm excited about the concept. I mean, I've ridden multiple Skyrocket 2s, and I enjoyed one of the Skyrocket 2s that I've ridden. And the double heart just looks like a way taller version. I think it's 160 feet, and a Skyrocket 2 is maybe like 75, 100 feet. So just like a bigger version. And the 0G rolls on the Skyrocket 2s genuinely like scare me. Like I feel like I'm falling out. So I think a similar element, twice as high off the ground, is just objectively cool.
I think I need to like research this more, because when I looked at it, I was like, this just looks like a thing. But it sounds like I need to research this more. So I was not as excited as I probably should have been.
Yeah, it's like
I mean, they're like small footprint. It's like a Skyrocket too.
Yeah.
Which I'm also not familiar with. I'm a fake thoosie.
Skyrocket 2, I guess you haven't been to a park with one, but like Tigress or...
You'll ride one when you go to Virginia.
If you go to Virginia.
Oh, yeah. Larry, that's a conversation to have later.
Yeah.
I think we got a couple questions left here. Surveillance wants to know, what is the worst coaster at Cedar Point? This was inspired by me.
Yeah, I'm going to have the exact same answer you are.
Are you?
I think so. Well, maybe not. Now it sounds like you're going to throw a curveball.
Millennium? No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god, no! I'm going with. I'm going to go with Cedar Creek Mine Ride.
Yeah, Cedar Creek Mine Ride.
I mean, technically, it's probably Junior Gemini if we're being like objective.
Well, yeah,
worst.
but I mean, I would never ride that anyway.
Yeah, I would ride it once for the credit. But yeah, Cedar Creek Mine Ride. Tear that thing down. please.
Please.
That's not even like a request. Like, tear it
And
down.
it's in such a nice spot.
It is. You can do
I love looking at it like when I'm riding the train with it going over the pond with all the lily pads and like the steel on wood looks so good right there. Why does it have to suck?
I would love to keep with that vibe. I would love a Titan Track wood framed family coaster that goes over that pond.
Looks so good.
It does. Last question. What was or is your most anticipated coaster trip?
Who's going?
I was going to go to Virginia this year. I think we're gonna postpone that till next year. For reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So that's still my most anticipated. Like, those are creds that I've been looking forward to since I got into coasters. But I think this year, now, I'm gonna try to swing out to Carowinds at the end of the summer. So that'll be my most anticipated for this year. But overall, it'll still be Virginia whenever I can.
That's going to be a good part. That's going to be a good trip.
Yeah.
Carowinds is fun.
Carowinds looks fun.
For this year, I'm trying to go to Great Escape and Six Flags New England, and maybe Lake Compounds if I can make it work. In the future, Peony Playland. That's on the very maybe list. We're planning on going Labor Day weekend with McLovin, but I might be moving into a new apartment September 1st. So, depending how that shakes out, would depend on if we can go on that trip or not, basically.
For me, I'm actually at this point, it's becoming very, very much becoming Epic Universe. Like getting down to Orlando.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because I haven't been to Universal in well over a decade. Haven't been to Disney in the same period of time. I want to go see all the new stuff at Epic Universe and the things I've missed, like the Harry Potter and
the new hotels are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of Harry Potter, we got in the park for early entry because we stayed on property. And by the time we got to Hagrid's, which was probably about 15 minutes after park opened because I had to stop at the accessibility window, Hagrid's had a 2-hour line already.
My God.
And
that's crazy.
We grabbed like our return time on the accessibility, and then I got in through the accessibility entrance, and then it broke down, so I still had to stand there for 45 minutes, which sucked.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, Hagrid's is fun. But yes, Epic Universe is a great pick for that.
Yeah, I guess I was just thinking like soon and not like out there.
I guess me, that's feeling like it's getting.
Well, I
guess it's not really that soon.
But I was gonna ask, are you planning on going out like when it opens, Larry? Or are you gonna kind of let it die a bit, or what?
I'm thinking about it.
Ooh.
I'm kind of thinking about wanting to get there.
I think going to IOA on Epic Universe opening day is the schmoove.
Ooh,
oh God, yeah.
Great questions, though.
Yeah. Oh, that was it on questions.
That was it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'm back, so more episodes coming with me to Taylor's dismay as I make fun of Hoff.
I'll survive.
What can you do?
This is the
Matt and Matt.
What?
Yeah. What?
Oh, reading your shirt.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Quad Down Pod. I was your host, Josh, with my awesome co-hosts, Flight of Taylor, aka Taylor, and Larry, aka KI Coaster Guy. Check out his videos, subscribe to him. I'm going to have some videos coming out hopefully soon. I don't know what he's doing with his arms, but have a great day, night, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Orion is a Giga Quad Down, out!